Wow. Just wow. Man, I just keep shaking my head. What's up, guys? Hey, thanks for stopping back in. Man, it's been a rough few days for everyone in my area. It's pretty crazy, and it's this stuff's been national news at this point. So a lot of you probably do know that there was some pretty nasty wildfires in the Boulder County area, and upwards of 1,000 homes have been lost from all this. And first, before we get into the video, which is going to be about next steps for the people that have lost homes, I just want to say I'm very, very sorry for everyone that has experienced damage or lost a home from all of this. It's very tragic. It's crazy and scary. And I got to see all that unfold for us firsthand. That video was actually my wife and son leaving Target that morning as everything was getting evacuated in Superior. And scary times. So my thoughts and prayers go out to you guys first and foremost. If you got any questions or just are looking for some help in the meantime, I am connected with a lot of people, good people that are collecting donations for all kinds of stuff that's needed. So make sure if you do need help, just drop that stuff in the comments below, or DM me on Instagram. I will personally give you my cell phone number. Contact me. We'll get you guys set up with whatever you need and taken care of. I just words can't express how sad I am and how sorry I am for all the people that have gone through this and are going through this right now. It's terrible. That being said, I want to make sure that you guys have the right information to get started with the rebuilding process. If you're going to rebuild, obviously you don't have to do that. But either way, you do need to make sure that your insurance company and your policy is aware of what has happened with your structure and anything else that's tied to your insurance policy. So first and foremost, make sure that you contact your agent and you get the process started with them. Let them know your home has been damaged or is gone, and they will get you set up. But that is the first step. You got to make sure that you contact them immediately. I know that times are tough, but this is something that has to get done if you're going to be able to recoup anything from this at all. So let's get started. Let's jump in. I'm going to give you basically the step-by-step process of how to kind of get through this process. I'm going to assume almost everyone that's watching this has never had to go through this before. If you have, I'm really sorry. But hopefully this information will help you get started and kind of smooth out the rough edges a little bit, maybe take a little bit of stress off of the otherwise terrible events that have happened to you. And I again apologize. So let's jump in. Let's get started with this. And hopefully you get some information to get you moving, okay? Okay, like I said, first things first, you want to set up a contact with your insurance agent and get a claim opened on your home as quickly as possible. Your agent's going to turn you on to the adjusting process itself. They're going to hook you up with a claims adjuster and get that process moving. Once you do that, okay, once you have the claim open and ready to go, step two, if you haven't gone to look at your property, go do it. All right. And if you can get it set up this way, set up a meeting with a professional fire restoration contractor, forensics expert if possible. And even one more step is to see if you can get out an engineer as well. I know the county is sending out their own inspectors from the building department to help assess damage to structures that have not been fully taken down. If your house did not fully burn to the ground, I know that's horrible to hear, but if it didn't fully burn to the ground, do not enter the home until you've been deemed safe by the fire restoration contractor and the structural engineer. I stress this. I know you want to go in and see if you can rescue things, but there are structures out there right now, I can tell you, that are unsound to enter, and you don't know what else has happened to the home. We don't need any more tragedy happening. Please stay out of the home until you've met with a fire restoration contractor expert, a forensics expert, and a structural engineer telling you you can enter the home if that's even possible, okay? So if you can, make sure you set that meeting up while you go out to check on your property. A lot of properties didn't encounter a lot of fire damage. However, if you've got smoke damage or it smells like smoke in your home, same thing. Contact your insurance agent, get a claim open. All of this is going to be taken care of by your insurance. That's why you have a homeowner's policy. Smoke damage is a big deal, and it can actually be more restoration work than you might actually think. So don't let that linger. We're already in a mode here in this entire country, especially out where I'm at, where we've got a lot of builders and contractors that are way backed up as it is. We're super busy. Same thing with insurance companies. And now you add this catastrophe to the whole mix, and it's going to be even that more backed up. So make sure you reach out. If you know of a builder, reach out to them as well and contact them initially. I've gotten actually quite a few texts and phone calls from people already looking to get the process started, and I'm doing my best to get back to you guys. So if you're watching this video and you haven't heard from me, I apologize. I will get to you. If you haven't heard from me in like a week, DM me on Facebook, Instagram. Hit me in the comments below or whatever you need to do. If you have my cell phone number, just keep calling me till I answer. I'm sorry. I'm just we're trying to get through this, but I think I've caught myself up. If I've missed you, let me know. But make sure you get all that stuff set up as soon as possible, okay? And again, if there's even just smoke damage, or if you just see partial damage to just a portion of your property, open up a claim. All right, so once you have a professional fire restoration contractor set up, have them assess your home like I was talking about. Make sure that a structural engineer is brought out, if at not the same time, soon afterwards. Structure needs to be evaluated, especially in stick frame homes, production homes especially, where we're building homes with dimensional lumber. It can burn, and if it hasn't fully taken any sort of heat damage or fire damage itself, it can be compromised structurally. That's talking about the roof, the trusses, the rafters, the floor joists, the subfloor, your wall framing, your sheathing, any of that can be compromised. You need to make sure a structural engineer can come in and determine what's been damaged, what needs to be fixed, what's potentially dangerous, shouldn't be walked or approached upon, and so forth. Get all that stuff assessed, get a written report done by the structural engineer and the fire restoration contractor, so you have that as well for your insurance adjuster when they show up, so they have that information to work with if your home has not burned fully to the ground, okay? They're also going to assess foundation, basement walls, everything. They're going to look at every single part of damage that can be assessed, and make sure you're there with them to walk through, because you know the home better than they do, obviously. All right, if the house luckily is deemed livable, you can then begin rebuilding from there or remodeling it. You should start by securing your house, meaning locking anything up if it's possible, taking things out of the home that are of value, that have been salvaged somehow. Make sure you gather all of those things. Securing your property is super important. It's going to keep, unfortunately, it's going to keep vandals out. It's going to keep theft out of your home. People are disgusting in some ways, some people, and they're going to look for taking advantage of these situations. They're going to wait for, obviously, neighborhoods that no one's living in right now, but there's stuff still sitting there that they may find as valuable, stuff that you may not know has been salvaged yet because you haven't been to the property yet. Those people are going to be there. So get to the property as soon as possible with those professionals in place as well. If your house is deemed livable, make sure you start securing the property. Do not go back in and start living there until you have approval from the county and the inspectors as well. All right. All right, after you've secured the property, your restoration contractor can recommend all kinds of subcontractors, electricians, carpenters, engineers if you need more engineering, roofers, all the MEP stuff, mechanical, electrical, plumbing, all the stuff that needs to be fixed. Someone like me as a general contractor is going to be contacted or referred to you, and we're going to start the process of walking through what needs to be fixed, put an estimate together, which you can then give back to your insurance company, and they can work off of that to make sure that you start getting payment for the things that you need to fix, okay? All of that's really, really important, and the faster you can do all of these steps, the better. There's a list of contractors. Again, if you need help contacting these people as well, drop that in the comments below with your contact information on a DM, or just let me know and I can reach out to you personally and we can kind of get that process started, and I can refer you to what you need and who you need and get you going and moving as fast as possible. It's going to be a longer process than you may think. Once the next necessary structural repairs have been made, Rebuild process should then focus on inspecting and repairing the electrical system. Again, this is all stuff you're going to walk through during the process with a general contractor or a home builder. If you're building from the ground up, it's going to be a little bit more of a process, and I'll go through that in just a second. Making sure that your electrical system is actually in working order and there's no damage done to it. That's a long assessment process in itself. Obviously, you want to have a master electrician out to assess that. They will assess that system. Same thing with a plumber, same thing with a mechanical contractor. This is also going to start working with water and smoke damage. It could be sanitation issues too. And I know that both Louisville and Superior are on boiled water. And which means you need to be boiling your water before you actually start drinking it. It's not safe to drink at the moment, and I would highly recommend just not drinking the water at all. Don't even bother boiling it at this point. Get to the store, buy bottled water, do what you need to do to get through that stuff. I wouldn't recommend even going to that step, to be honest with you. Checking air ducts, scoping your systems, making sure that if there is smoke damage in the ducts, you have to replace those. If your system is up and running, your furnace is ready to go, first thing you do is replace those filters. They're going to be completely full of fire and smoke damage, and those need to be replaced immediately. You want to make sure you're not breathing any of those chemicals and that smoke into your home, or continue to pump it through. And from here on out, until that duct system and the forced air system in general has been assessed and fully cleaned, replace those filters about every 2 weeks, if not earlier. Okay, that's a lot to do, I know, but the lucky part is if that's the case, you're back living in the home and it didn't burn down. So these are pretty minor steps compared to others. Once those are all assessed, you can kind of finish the process. Again, all of these things need to be broadcast to your adjuster to make sure that you don't need anything else to do and you don't miss out on any payments that are due to you from the insurance company. They're going to go based on what the adjuster finds, what the professionals find, and what you tell them. After that, if nothing's caught, you're not going to be able to recoup later. So make sure you get that dialed in early with the right people in place. Try and stay calm. Again, the remodel process in itself is going to take quite a while. The rebuild process is going to take even longer. And so let's dive into that real quick as far as all the homes that have burned to the ground. First things first, people are asking me, can we use the existing foundation to rebuild our home? And as far as using the existing building envelope, in most cases, no. They're not going to allow it because you're going to want a new soils report. There are circumstances that allow you to go off the existing foundation, but again, you'd have to have a structural engineer come out and validate it, sign off on it. A lot of those engineers are not going to do that because a lot of these homes were built 15, 20, 25 years ago. And I will be completely transparent with you guys, people in Superior. Those builders did not go off of soils engineering reporting correctly. I really, to this day, have no idea how they got away with building spread footing and stem wall foundations in that area, which is so high in clay soil content that the only structures that should have been built on those foundations were pier and grade beam or some their form of. And that's why you saw so many homes in those areas with severe slab and structural damage ongoing. And it was only because they built conventional stem wall and spread footing foundations, and that was not actually a choice that you had based on the soils reports in that area. So you don't want to use the existing foundation. That's got to be excavated, removed, and then starting over. Trust me, it's just going to be a better process to do it that way. Regardless of that, you want to make sure that the next step you take once you get an assessment done and you're going to rebuild, if you're going to stay, is to go contact an architect and a structural engineer to start designing your home. It has to be fairly like kind. You're going to get basically your insurance policy itself holds in there the insurance to rebuild the home as is on today's price. Now, with inflation being what it is and material costs and supply chain issues, that's going to be a little bit harder pill to swallow for the insurance companies. And it's going to be a little bit more aggravating work on your end and on the contractor's end to show the cost to rebuild. There's going to be a little bit of push and shove going back and forth on price to build, cost per square foot. because of all those issues. I'm just thinking how tedious this may be. So I want to make sure that you guys understand this is going to be a process, but you want to make sure that that cost to build is going to be fair and per your insurance policy. It's that number is going to be in there in cost to rebuild. So that's what you're deemed. Make sure you're trying to build off that similar platform and similar building envelope. Yes, you can make adjustments, but again, talking to your insurance company first and asking them exactly how far you can go with that is the first step. Then you want to set up with an architect and a structural engineer and get that design going so you can then, soon as possible, submit for building permits to be able to start the construction process. And again, because of the overwhelming demand that's going to be there, it's going to take even longer than normal. So just be prepared for that. All right, so that's kind of the step-by-step process. One more thing I wanted to point out to you guys is making sure if you do have a home that's still standing on some level and you didn't do it already when you were part of the evacuation process, go in and take pictures, document as much personal property as you can. Make sure that you have videos, pictures if you didn't already. And if it's not on your insurance policy itself, you want to be able to get as much of that information back to your insurance agent as possible. And then once you've done that, once you've taken the pictures of the stuff that's still in the home, if it's standing, remove those items. Like I said before, take them with you, get them out of the home. We don't need anybody else taking unnatural and unforeseen opportunity on a major loss by a lot of people. So that's it. If you got any more questions or comments, please leave them down below. You guys, make sure you like the video, and it's not because I need your approval. It's because this helps get this information out to all the people that are going to need it. It's an algorithm. It's what YouTube does. It can get a ton of views on the video. If it doesn't get enough likes, they think it's not deemed worthy by you guys, and it doesn't get pushed out to a lot of people. So it really is imperative that you hit the thumbs up if you found this information helpful. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already, because I'm doing some more videos to help you guys out and kind of get the rebuild process going, explaining how this is all going to work. In the meantime, again, my thoughts and prayers with you guys. DM me on Instagram if you have any more personal stuff or whatever you need. And again, I will give you my personal cell phone number. You can contact me and I can get you what you're looking for, the help that you need. Stay calm. Try and take a deep breath. And you guys are going to get through this. And people in our community, we're all here for you too. So till next time, guys, keep building.